On this week's show, we discuss what's more important, being an action taker or having good property knowledge.
In this week's news, we discuss how the layout of your property can actually risk losing you thousands of pounds.
And we're going to be answering all your property-related questions.
Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Enjoy this week's show and don't forget to share it with all your friends.
Hey, I'm Russell Leeds.
Hey, I'm Alistair Cunningham. How are you?
And welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. I saw someone review our podcast last week. Actually, I might see if I can find it. So this was off last week's show. Any regular listeners, just to fill you in, because to be fair, I actually thought this was quite an accurate description of our podcast, although I think he was trying to be negative. So this is Michael Laborde. If you're listening, Michael, you probably won't be based on what you said last week. Okay. But he said 8 minutes in and they're still talking about going to the gym. Russell says properties don't stay the same price after every year. Also, Russell, apartments in Warsaw were going for 80 grand 10 years ago. Now they're worth 60. Not an ounce of knowledge gained from that podcast. I don't mean to be rude, but honestly, it was a huge waste of time. Pretty much. That's pretty much it. That's our show. The whole idea of this podcast, just so you know, if anyone's listening, is we just chat about property. So that will include chatting about our lives.
The first thing, when me and you got together over a year and a half ago and said, hey, should we do a podcast? Ironically, before a lot of the other podcasts popped up, what was it we actually, do you remember the conversation? Because I quite clearly remember the conversation.
I do.
What's wrong with most other podcasts out there? Especially they're boring as hell. And we both at some point or other tuned into various podcasts and tuned out very, very quickly because we were bored out of our friggin' tears. So we said, whatever we do, we are not going to make these boring. And it's not going to be, oh, this is how you do this. It's going to be, look, it's like two guys sat in a pub, having a beer, having a bit of a laugh, just talking what they do on a daily basis and having a bit of fun. And you know what? Taking the piss out of some people.
Especially
Michael,
you.
Me, of course. But Michael Laborde, if you don't like it, I can't say much more. Like, enjoy the other podcast, but we'll miss you. Not. Anyway, there was quite a few other comments actually. RB5286, it would be hilarious when all the bounce back loan home purchasers get charged with fraud. Clearly, RB5286, you don't really know what you're talking about because that's not strictly going to be the case, is it? Because if you actually know what you're doing and you are doing this correctly, you won't be charged with fraud. Learn how to do it properly, get proper advice. So, listen, if you don't like the podcast, we're not going to apologise. It is what it is.
No. But yeah, the idea is it's just two blokes chatting about property as if we were just chatting about it in the pub and you guys are listening in. So that's the idea. So yeah, talking about that, how's your gym workout go today, bro?
Yeah, really good. Really good. Like, I know it's not much for like you lot, but it is for me. Really good. Like I was there with do you know what I found really good? Having an accountability partner at the gym. And I went with a guy called Tom Cook, and he really, really helped me. I have a usual partner I go with, but he only does 5-pounders. Like, we do leg presses, and he's pressing 5 pounds. Now, it is both sides, so that's 10 pounds in total. But, yeah, Tom Cook.
Are you with him now? Are you with Ricky now?
Yes. I'm with him now. But, mate, have you ever been to the gym with Tom Cook? Go. He's a machine. He's like he's doing like bicep pushes and all that sort of stuff, and he's doing it like 100 kilograms. And I'm like, what?
You should come to one of my sessions. It would kill you.
No, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't.
It would.
No, it wouldn't.
It would.
No, it wouldn't.
It would. It may. I'm telling you now, it would kill you.
Dude, I'm so much stronger than you give me credit for.
Hey, I'm not talking about lifting weights. I'm talking about cardio.
Yeah, cardio. Like, so how long cardio do you do?
An hour.
Yeah. Cool. I'm not saying I won't be fucked. I'm not saying I won't be rigged, but I will be.
You would do it.
But I would
You
still
would do it.
Dude, I do 45 minutes cardio every day at the gym.
I'll take you on one of my 7K runs.
No, I don't do a 7K run.
Come on.
I stage it. So what I do, I get on the running machine.
Marvin, he goes to me. It's like do 5 minutes in a row of like, it'll be like, right, you got to do 20 burpees, 20 mountain climbers, and I don't know, something else that's hard. And then he'll say, right, 3 of those, you've got to rotate, keep going for 5 minutes, and then you get a minute break, and then we're at something else. You ready? And go! And just like...
It's like Blaze. David Lloyd run our program every morning, like various times a day, and it's called Blaze. Same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's just very high intense workout. And we're booked in to do one. Myself and Ricky are actually booked in to do one next week. So
can we come along and film it?
No, you can't come on. Because I was speaking to somebody, I was speaking to an academy member called Dean, and we went to the gym together the other week, and he done it. And the first time he done it, he was physically sick at the side of where he was. He had to get off, threw up in a bucket, and then the PT made him get straight back on it. Like, they made him clean himself up and just get straight back on it. So, I mean, I'm getting kind of, and I'm surprised. I'm shocked at myself. I really am. But I'm getting kind of addicted to going to the gym. Like, I've just been away at a 3-day training course running Infinite Returns as part of the academy, which was amazing. And there's a David Lloyd's nearby in Heston, and we actually went there after the event for a couple of the nights. But it wasn't quite the same as my local gym, because my local gym, although it's David Lloyd, is quite posh, it's quite nice. Down there, this is the first ever David Lloyd's that was ever set up. And it's just very old and very dated, and there was far too many people there for my liking. So we went a couple of times. That's where Tom Cook come with us, and I saw him pushing down 100 kilograms at a time, and he was like he was a machine, mate. He was on it. And we done a couple of games as well where you do the weights and you pass it around, go up and you go up to 15, and go back down to 15, back down to 0 from 15. So you all do 15 bicep curls with weights, like 25 kilograms. Go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 15. Then you do 14, then you do 13, then you do 12, then you do 11, then you do 10. Then you go back down to 0, then you go back up to 15.
So what happens after 10?
You do 9.
Then what?
Then you do 8.
Sorry, I thought you wanted to go for everything. You'd already done 15, 14, 30, as if we didn't know what counting down was.
No,
you do 15, and it's like fucking 10 green bottles.
No, it's good, mate. Honestly, I just enjoy it. I'm actually starting to get really into it, and I honestly never thought I would.
15 kilograms I am lifting up, and when one of the kilograms gets taken off.
That's 14 kilograms. Anyway, so topic of this week, I think it's really, really important, because just come back from a 3-day program. So our first academy event that we've been able to run since all this, the world entered into disaster. And we had a small group of about 15 academy members come along. And we spent 3 days talking, teaching buy, refurbish, refinance and Infinite Return. Seriously, great event. And the feedback we're getting, the reviews are coming in thick and fast, and people had some big breakthroughs at the weekend. Last 3 days. Like, seriously, massive breakthroughs. And it's great when you help people, and when you deliver and train them, and they then take the opportunity to sort of show that appreciation. It's really good. I mean, here's just one. Look, this is from Joe Nicole, okay? And he's like, seriously, Joe Nicole had a lot of barriers, and there was points where I was extremely hard on him, like extremely hard, extremely hard, okay? And then he still sent me this message: feeling very lucky to have had such an amazing 3 days with 3 amazing trainers and other amazing academy friends. By far the best ever event he's been on, and he won't forget the level of support he's personally had from everybody. The fact that the rooms have been limited right now to only a few people enhances the training and the impact and support he gets from Alistair, Ricky, and Tom. There's no holding back. Really amazing. Full of tears, laughter, love, education, growth, and support. Truly magical. Like, seriously, this guy. And that's just one review out of multiple reviews we're getting. So I think it's super, super crucial. But one thing that come up for me, and we're going to talk about it on today's show. Now, we spoke a lot about the technical skill of buy, refurbish, refinance. But we also spoke a lot about the personal development side of it. What do you think about the personal development side of that? Do you think technical skills enough?
Well, this is kind of the topic for the show, wasn't it? So I suppose the initial question. Well, do I think technical skills enough? No, Dan. In short answer to your question. So technical skill versus action taker. What's more important? Do you need both? What percentage? What do you think is more important? Would you rather be no technical skill and an action taker, or lots of technical skill but you're not an action taker?
I think categorically, you need a little bit of skill, technical skill, but I think it's like 90-10 action taken. I seriously do. I think it is so important to be able to actually just do it. And you know what? If you get it wrong, learn from it. So just learn from it. Learn where your weak points are. Now, let's face it. Nobody's going to go out and start taking action that has never got into that has never done any research on property. So you're not going to get somebody to come off the street and go, "Oh, I want to do property, so I'm going to go out and just rush and buy my first deal." That doesn't happen. So everybody will always have done a little bit of research, a little bit of sort of homework, reading books, YouTube, whatever. But the biggest problem I see, and the biggest problem I saw with people at this event, is they've got the skills, they've got the technical knowledge, but they were lacking taking action through their own fault. Nobody else's fault, it's their fault, and they were the first to admit it. But the thing is, all that knowledge they're gaining, but without action, is irrelevant. It means nothing, because they're not going to make any money. But when you can combine action, sorting that out, personal development, growth skills, combine that with the action, and like also combine that a little bit with accountability, then I think you start to see some serious success. What do you think? Do you think action taker or education?
I think in terms of being successful, I think it's probably a pretty even split. I think it's 50-50. I think the difference between the two, and why I think probably being an action taker is far more important, is because if you're an action taker, you can learn the knowledge. It's quite hard to get someone that isn't an action taker and to turn them in. You can do it. I have seen it happen. You get people that are bums, losers, and something happens and something changes and it shifts, and then they
Prime example. We've got a student. I'm not sure if I want to name him because he might be offended by this, but we had a student who before he sort of come to us, he was a bit of a bum. I think you know who I'm talking about. He was a bit of a bum.
Was it about you?
No, he was a bit of a bum, but he'll admit this, and he's admitted this before, and I've heard him say it. He wasn't doing much. He was staying in bed all day, but he had a sponge of a brain that just absorbed. Okay, and you didn't have to tell him more than once what to do or how to do it. He went. Does this
guy not lacking confidence?
Yeah.
We say?
Yeah, you know who I'm on about.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
My point being is he was a bit of a bum before he learned the key skills and he learned how to take action. We educated him, we taught him, we showed him how to do it. And now he's out there doing massive things because he took serious action. But what stopped him taking action beforehand? Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get at. So he learned the skills, then he took action. And I see this all the time, where people just don't take action, they don't make any money, but then you get somebody who's not particularly got the full skill set that this other person has. So person A's got the skills, got the knowledge, got the technical ability, but they don't really take much action. Then you've got person B that's got a little bit of skill, a little bit of knowledge, but they take severe, massive action. Person B, in my opinion, will always do better. Because think of it like this. When you go to school, you leave school at 16, 17, 18, whatever, right? Some people will go off and they'll go to college. Then they'll go to university. They'll leave university at 25, 26 years old, and then they'll get into a normal job, okay?
Yeah.
Other people will go to school, they'll go to college, and then they'll get then they'll get like an apprenticeship, so where they're working 2 or 3 days a week while still learning. Believe me, the person that went and done a day release modern apprenticeship work experience type thing, they will be far further down the road when it comes to the actual skills of working the job than the person that went to university, because they have that hands-on, actually working the business, learning as they go.
Doesn't it just depend on? Surely it just depends on the job and the person, though.
No,
Like if it was a doctor, I'd rather take the person that been to university.
Okay, so what?
Or a solicitor. If it was, okay, do you want the solicitor that went on an electrician's apprenticeship and he's now
No, but
hands-on?
that's what they would do, would it? A solicitor would. Okay, take for instance, my daughter's a conveyancer. She's part-time studying at college, but she's also part-time working in a solicitor's office 3 days a week, 4 days a week, studying and doing the actual physical day-to-day work of being a conveyancer. Or you can go to solicitor, you can go to college.
Because you've got real-life experience.
Yeah, of course you've got life experience. So my point being, so to answer your question...
Go on, answer my question, because I don't get your point at all right now. It's probably me being stupid.
Right, it's because you're being stupid. Right,
probably.
Listen, right? You've got a solicitor. You've got a solicitor who just went to college and never worked as a solicitor. So they went to solicitor school, done whatever they have to do, whatever. Went there for 3 years and learned on paper how to do everything. Okay. Yeah. Or you've got somebody who went to solicitor school for 2 days a week, but 3 days a week worked in the job. Actually worked in a solicitor's office, dealing with cases.
I get all that. Right. What's your point?
Who do you think at the end of the time is going to be more skilled and more experienced and better at their job?
Probably the one that's had the experience.
Of course. That's what I'm getting at.
I get all that. What's your point? What's that got to do with being an action taker?
Because they're taking action. They're learning.
They're not taking action. They've just gone to a different school.
No. It's my point being, right? Relate that back to business, okay? So you've got people that learn all the skills, that go on, that spend their life looking at videos, watching, reading books, learning the skills of being a property investor. Or you've got other people that learn the skills here, but here they're also out learning it, working the business. Okay?
So I get your point. So your point is, if you're actually doing it, if you're actually doing it, you'll learn faster than if you're just learning the theory.
100%.
So an action taker is someone who's also going to be doing it, so they're going to be learning faster, is your point, yeah?
You learn better. You learn a much more in-depth knowledge than somebody that's not actually physically doing it. Because if you're not doing it, if you're not doing it, you're not learning it.
Why do you think then? Why do you think so many people? Because a lot of people want to get into property. I'm not talking about people that have been an actor. I'm just talking about people in general.
Yeah.
But they don't. Why do you think that is?
They don't make the choice to do it, or they don't make any money from it?
They want to do it. They want to do it. They're like, oh yeah, I'd like to get into property one day. Oh yeah, I like the idea. Oh, I know a bit about HMOs. That sounds good. But they never do anything about it.
Couple of reasons. Some people are led by the belief that you have to have hundreds of thousands of pounds to do anything in property, because lots of negative people out there on social media say you can't do it without inherited money, or you can't do it without hundreds of thousands of pounds in the bank. We know that not to be the case, because we've helped many people get into property with just a few £1,000s.
Yeah,
I started in property with £4,000. I don't care what anyone says. I did. I had £4,000 to my name when I started in property. That's it. Proven fact. And I'm now sitting here a landlord. I've got multiple houses, got a deal sourcing business, and I'm doing very well for myself. I only had £4,000 to my name. That was on my card. Do you know what I mean?
And that wasn't. We're not like saying that was like 20 years ago. That was like 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay.
How long? 3.5
years ago. Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? What you've achieved in the last 3.5 years.
Of course it is. So don't tell me, anyone that says you can't do this without any money, then for them, they're right, because they've got a dumbass mindset. Now, you can do this with low money, but you have to exchange that money for serious action, serious education, serious balls, and just go for it and not be scared of what people think, not be scared of making a mistake, and be a sponge. Be a sponge. open up and learn from other people and just absorb what you watch and what you see?
I think the reason that a lot of people don't I think it's a mixture of two reasons. Number one, I think a lack of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you don't understand something, it's very scary, especially when big money is involved. If you don't feel that you've got a good understanding, let's say you want to do biorefurbishing finance, but you don't feel that you really, you know the gist, but to actually put down 40 grand and then to pay 30 grand, you know, it is a risk, and it does take belief, big belief, right? So you need to, sorry?
Yeah, big belief, 100%. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So I think a lack of knowledge is definitely one thing. And that's one of the good things about having knowledge, is it gives you the belief and the confidence. Lack of belief, lack of confidence, whatever you want to call it. And the other thing, I think, is a lack of needing to. I think a lot of people are just comfortable. So, yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, it'd be nice to, you know, but, you know, it's not going to actually, a lot of the time, one of the reasons why you get people that suddenly turn into an action taker is they suddenly decide they've had enough of their life, or something bad happens and they want to get themselves out of it, or they lose their job and now they've got no choice. Because to be honest, right, even like I was talking to Samuel about this the other day. We were saying that we both work well under pressure. When you got a deadline, because then you just got to do it. Then it's like, and you mentioned this with accountability. If you hold each other accountable, if you know that, you know, so and so is going to think, I haven't done this or I haven't done that, and it makes you more likely to do it. That's why having a personal trainer works for me.
Yeah, because I agree with that.
He's coming. It's a way of holding myself accountable and forcing myself into doing it.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. The thing is, I also think a lot of people lack the belief that they can actually do it. So what you said earlier, like they get into this comfortable zone of, well, they've got an okay job, they're happy with their income or whatever, and it's like, do they really need to go to that next level? And maybe they don't have that desire and that actual ambition to get to the next level.
Because they'd rather just sit and watch telly.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Than be going and doing
like that. So many people where they would just like they like having their weekends as their weekend, where they can do nothing, they can just chill out, do whatever. And the thought of having a business or a job or a business or a way of life that you're constantly thinking about business and you're constantly thinking about how can I monetize this property and how can I make money from this property, because that's what business is. They don't like that, and they don't have that mindset or desire. It's not for everybody. This isn't for everybody. But the thing
also, it's not the norm, is it? You know, you tend to do what people around you are doing. And if people around you are watching TV and going for a meal and just chilling around, and you kind of want to be like that. The reason we were talking about this, I suppose the reason we came to this topic is now that we're back to the events, a lot of people were saying to us, oh my goodness, I feel so motivated, I'm around all these positive people. And there was only 15 people or something?
Yeah, something like that.
16 people, something like that in the room. You know, so it wasn't like a lot of people in the room, you know, but with people like you and Ricky and Tom and each other, and you build each other up and you motivate each other, and you get the knowledge and you get the belief and the confidence. It kind of gives you a bit of everything, doesn't it, really? And then we were just sort of discussing what's the most important. So I think that you need both. I think that they feed off one another, and when you've got the knowledge, it gives you the confidence, and it makes you an action taker. But you also need a why. And you talk a lot about this. You need a reason. Why am I doing it? Why am I getting out of bed to go and do this viewing? Like for me, why am I setting my alarm for 6:30 to go and do a workout? Like logically, it's not the comfortable thing to do, is it?
No, not at all.
And you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You don't always naturally, we're designed to go for the easy option.
Well, is that not what society wants us to do? They want us to take the easy route. I
think that's what we want to do. I think naturally you want to do naturally, most people, you want to do the easy thing, don't you?
Yeah. But if you look at everything though, if you look at what's the world would you say has become? Let's look at the the diet world, the world of dieting and food, and what are you seeing in the world of food at the minute? And certainly for the
Well,
last,
everyone wants everything now, don't they? No one's got patience.
they all want it now. They all want convenience. They all want fast, tasty, whatever, quick action, quick food, and they're not prepared to do.
You're pretty good expert at providing quick action, aren't you?
I don't know how to answer that, but okay.
Hold on, I thought you made money from deal selling really quick.
Yeah, that's not what you meant. I know that's not what you meant.
It is.
Yeah, look. Okay, so yeah, that was an awkward one. I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, it's all about getting your times down.
What I say?
No, it's good, yeah. But
The quicker the better, right, Al?
Well, it's good for me. Anyway, so yeah, no, I agree. Like, the problem is we want stuff now. We want stuff without working for it. That's what the world is set up for, but it's just not reality. The reality is, if you want anything in life, you've got to work damn hard at it. You've got to come at it with the right education. You've got to come at it with the right mindset, with the right belief, the right desire, everything. So yeah, you've got to take serious action, but you've got to combine it with education. You've got to combine it with being around the right people who can keep you accountable. And do you know what? The breakthroughs and the belief that these people have, and the motivation they have is super, super high. And do you know what? I can't wait till next Wednesday, because I'm doing it all over again, because I love doing it, because it motivates me and it keeps me in the game as well.
So here you go. Quick one for the listeners then. If you had to give people so let's say someone who's sitting there, maybe they've got a little bit of knowledge, but they're procrastinating about it.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you were going to write a book about procrastination, but you haven't got around to doing it yet?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about it.
Any tips for people to get their head in the game?
Just focus. Understand what you've got to do. Understand what you need. Understand what you want, and have a clear direction of how you're going to get there. And you don't have to. It doesn't have to be It doesn't have to be worked out entirely, but just start putting some action steps in place and break it down. Like, don't look at something you want to achieve as one thing. Look at it as micros, individuals, okay? So you're going to do one thing, then you're going to do second thing, then you're going to do third thing. And before you know it, you've done whatever you want to do. It's like us losing weight, okay? We're all, me, you, Samuel, we're all looking to trim down, lose a little bit of weight, because we got a little bit complacent with it, okay? But you cannot go from weighing 100 kilograms to weighing 80 kilograms overnight. You can't. And to think about it is scary. To think about losing 20 kilograms is like, how the heck am I going to do that? I'm going to have to cut my 2 legs off. Like, seriously. But to lose a kilogram is a lot easier. Do you know what I mean? So increments, do it in increments, do it over time. And that's no different to your business. And come along to training events, get involved, like actually show up, because you'll be around people that want to push you up, not drag you down. And when you're around people who believe in you and aspire to be like you, let me tell you something a woman said to me yesterday. Okay, we have in the room, there was an 18-year-old young lad called Josh with his mum, and really good guy. He's really pushing on. He's doing great things. And we also had an older lady in the room called Kim. Now, Kim's very successful, and she's been very successful in business. But when Josh was talking, Josh does have a lack of confidence, okay? And Kim said to Josh in front of everybody, she said, basically, Josh, you don't know how good you are. I would love to be in your slipstream. Now, do we all get what that means? Do you know what slipstream is?
If you said to a woman, "I'd love to be in your slipstream," I would be like, "What the heck?" I mean, like, that is. Go on.
Do you know what slipstream is?
I don't know what it is.
Right.
No, I can't even guess. Everything I'm thinking of, it can't be.
It's because you've got a dirty mind. In motorsport, okay, like Formula 1 cars going down the road, the quickest way to get. Okay, so if you're going down the road in a Formula 1 car, okay, what do you and you've got a car behind following, okay? Behind the car in front, there's an air pocket where there's no wind.
Yeah, I did. I just know it's called
So the
slipstream. I know
car
what you mean.
behind is in its slipstream. Now, what car do you think is going quicker? The car in front or the car behind? Technically, the car behind, because it's got no resistance. Because
I'll be going quicker there for long. I didn't realise it hit it.
No, in general, technically, you always overcomplicate things. It's technically going quicker, okay?
Is it?
Yes, it is.
So is it catching it?
It's using less energy to go quicker.
Less energy to go the same speed there, right?
Whatever.
It can't be going quicker, otherwise it would hit it.
But generally, they do catch up, and then they have to back off. It's just the way it is. My point being is this older lady, not old, this older than 18 lady, very successful in business, said to a young guy, I would love to be in your slipstream, in the sense of, she didn't say I want to be ahead of you. She didn't say I want to be quicker and doing better than you. She said, I'd love to be basically in your slipstream. So you're doing great things, and I want to be, if I'm in your slipstream, I'd be more than happy. So what's she doing to this young lad? She's not dragging him down. She's pushing him up. She's saying, you go, guy, and I'm going to be with you, and I'm going to be coming behind you, and I'm going to be helping you. My point being is being around the right people. I don't care. It's funny, I know, but it's about being around the right people. Seriously, there's so much motivation and support in that room from other people. And I don't know who it was that said it. If you hang around with 5 people and they're all drug addicts, you'll be the 6th drug addict. If you hang around with 5 fatties, you're going to be the 6th one. If you hang around with 5 people like me and you and Ricky and Samuel, all these people that are quite successful, then you're going to be the 6th. It's no different.
I don't think he quite said about the fatties and stuff, but I think you're quoting Jim Rohn.
Dude, it's
just changed
true.
it a bit.
I have changed it, but that's Alistair Cunningham's version. You hang around with 5 fatties, you'll be the 6th. Shoot me, I don't care. No, go on. Let's move on.
Can I give my tip?
Go on.
So that was Alistair's tip, getting a slipstream and whatever. So I would say you need to understand, and this is something that I the thing is with business and it comes easy to me. I just do it. It's not a problem. I'm naturally that way inclined. I enjoy it. Something that I don't enjoy, obviously, is health. And what really helped me was understanding that it's a process. And if I do X, Y, Z, I work it out. Okay, what are the things that a healthy person would do and a fit person would do? They'd work out every day. They'd eat healthy food. Right. If I understand that, all I need to do is that. I don't need to focus on the results. I don't need to focus on my goals. I don't need to sit there looking at a vision board of a guy with a 6-pack. I just need to think, not that those are bad things, by the way, but I just need to think, if I do this, this, and this, and I just trust the process and don't worry about it, I'll become successful. And likewise, and one of the things we talk about a lot of the Deal Finding Extravaganza is just book viewings in. You start in the process. I mean, how hard is it to book a viewing? But once you book a viewing, you've got to go and see it. And then once you go and see it, you've got follows on to the next thing. So just trust the process, work out what the process is, what does that look like for you, and just follow it and trust it. And you won't get results immediately, that's okay. But just keep doing it and keep doing it. And over time, if you do what successful people do, if you hang around with successful people, you read good books, you listen to good podcasts, and you can listen to this one as well if you want. Over time, you will become successful. So that's my tip. It's a process. Anyway, it's now time for this.
In the news, we're going to talk today about how your home is laid out can actually risk losing you thousands and thousands of pounds of any future sale price. So have you got the
Yes, the headline is this. Property news is this in the Daily Express. How your house layout could knock off thousands from the asking price. Now, what did you think I meant when I read that out to you?
I actually thought you meant, the way you read it to me, I assumed that when people...
Well, I read it to you like that. This is how I read it to you.
It did.
Property news, how your house layout could knock off thousands from asking price. And what do you think it meant?
What you meant was when people come to do viewings, like how you have it decorated and dressed and laid out. Like, that's what I thought you meant, because people might not be able to see what they want. But I didn't realise.
And at the beginning of the show, do you know what we got on this week's show? He said, on this week's show, how you lay out your furniture can knock thousands. I was like, furniture? What are you on about? But there you go.
Anyway,
so let me read this.
I agree
quite
entirely. Because think about it, like when you're looking at a house, it massively, because like I don't like bathrooms downstairs and all that sort of stuff, and I don't like bedrooms downstairs.
I like having a downstairs bathroom.
I don't mind like a cubicle, like a WC cubicle, but I don't like proper bathrooms being downstairs. I like them.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
And
so here we go. Property is an expensive investment, with the kitchen and bathroom being the two most important rooms when it comes to buying. However, the location of these rooms is also very important, as a recent survey shows the layout could knock thousands off the asking price.
Yeah.
Property can come at a hefty price, and many will save up several years in order to get onto the property ladder. This may result in buyers settling for whatever they can afford. But when it comes to selling again, certain issues can arise when it comes to the layout of your home. According to the survey by Mura Showers, the layout of your house is very important when selling your house. That's basically just repeating it. That being said, it isn't the standard of the rooms that matters. It's not the standard of the room that matters. It's the location. So having a bathroom that is accessed via the kitchen, for example, knocks thousands off the asking price.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
Bathrooms attached to kitchens are usually found in old terraced houses, but they've become less appealing in the modern market, with nearly half of Brits admitting they'd offer a staggering £7,000 less if they viewed a house where the bathroom is attached to the kitchen. More than a third of the respondents to the survey said they would not put in an offer at all if the only bathroom in the house was accessible through the kitchen.
And 18, like it, would you? At all?
You are?
You wouldn't like that at all. Sorry, just finish that figure off, and I want to say something.
18% said they want to reduce the price even further by offering between £10,000 and £20,000 less. Whilst many might not care whether or not the bathroom comes off the kitchen or whether it's upstairs or downstairs, it can create problems if you're selling the property. So even if you don't care, if you're buying it, got to be aware. So if you're currently looking to move house, it's worth looking at the layout before viewing to see if it's suitable for you. Whilst you can't change the layout of the house without huge cost, there are some interior changes that you can make in order to make it more appealing for buyers. Sometimes there may be a space where you can add an extra door to make a bathroom accessible from another room. Or a bathroom makeover might do the trick, making it look more presentable or with colour. But it's interesting that the two most important rooms in the house are your kitchen and your bathroom. I've actually noticed that quite a lot in recent years.
Yeah, I've known that forever. I've known that. It's always been the case. It's always been
but
the case.
Don't you think, though, that like 20 years ago, kitchens used to be little rooms for cooking in?
Yeah.
But whereas now,
they're much more
like
communal living areas, aren't they?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
But one thing I will say about bathrooms being off kitchens and typically downstairs, I've got a HMO like that where the bathroom is off the kitchen, and like the way I look at it is, it's really quite annoying, because like that means like every day I have a shower, morning shower, night every day, and I don't walk to the bathroom in fully clothed. Do you know what I mean? So that means you've got to walk downstairs. To me, that's just...
Oh, if I had a bathroom downstairs, it would do my nutting.
It would do my...
I just couldn't be... to be honest, I couldn't be doing without having an ensuite. If I didn't have an ensuite, I would just be like, what the hell? But like my last house, 6-bedroom house, really nice house, had 6 bathrooms in the house. Yeah. Have a guess how many family bathrooms there were?
Don't know.
Well,
6.
That's why I said guess.
None. Oh, one. No, one.
None. Not one. There was a bathroom downstairs.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And then there's a Jack and Jill. So 2 of the rooms kind of had like the bathroom in the middle. You could access it by either door.
Yeah, I remember.
And the rest were en suite. There wasn't a family bathroom. You basically just had an ensuite attached to the bedroom and a WC downstairs.
Cool. Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, it was you had the one bathroom. They're just completely changing it. And I agree, the kitchens are such an important room now. When you're looking, you want a big kitchen, you want a breakfast bar, you want the area in the middle, you want to sit round. You want it. A lot of them are attached. But my last 2 houses, I've had it attached to conservatories, but like an open plan. So you've got all the light coming in and everything. So interesting though, the layout. But it's worth knowing, because if if you're doing a big refurb on one of those properties, might be an extra way of adding some extra value from a BRR point of view.
100%. Yeah. So all good.
Because a lot of the houses, it's the old terrace houses, isn't it? It's the ones where they're thin houses. You walk in, you got your front door, corridor straight down, one reception room to the right or the left, depending. Yeah. Then you go into a reception room, which has got the stairs off it normally. Then kitchen, then bathroom. But a lot of them are quite big houses.
Yeah, they are. I mean, one of my HMOs, Wolverhampton's like that. Exactly the same layout. Bedroom, bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, and then you go upstairs and there's 3 more bedrooms, and then there's a communal area as well off the kitchen. So off the kitchen there's a communal area and a bathroom, so it goes along that way and then out. Really good. So yeah. I think I agree with it. I completely agree with it. So change the layout, and when think about that when you're planning any refurbs and things like that. So, but I think everyone.
And they reckon that adding an ensuite to one of those houses would add on at least $5,000 in value.
Yeah, but it wouldn't cost that to do it. But is it worth it? I don't know. But it makes it more sellable.
Yeah, it makes it more sellable. If it's part of your BRR strategy, though, if you're getting one of those type houses, it might be worth adding in some ensuites, maybe.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, okay. It's that time for this.
Did you get that? Should we do that? Let me just do that bit again because we both cut over each other.
All right, I didn't even hear you.
Okay, so it's now time for the questions. If you don't see where we put this on Property Investors with Simon Leeds every single week. I'll do a Facebook Live, asking for your questions, and we just go off of there. Got 2 questions today, and this first one is from Kyle Jin. Have you got any quick tips on how to attract serious investors via social media? Russell, any tips?
To attract serious investors?
Yeah.
Put out lots of value.
Yeah.
Put together an awesome podcast. Find yourself someone who's a bit like you, but not quite as good that you can take the piss out of on the podcast.
And it's still coming back. Yeah.
Sorry?
And something that still keeps coming back. No, seriously, Kyle, listen, you've got to be putting out some serious value for people, because you want to attract serious people into your business. You've got to give them some serious value, and you've got to build your positioning and your branding as Kyle Jin. He's the person to speak to for that business, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take consistent daily action, but just keep putting out value. Put out value day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. Value, value, value. Harry Willingale, do you need to be compliant to do rent to rent, or would you recommend? If not? Okay, so do you need to be compliant to do rent to rent? Yes, you do, because you're essentially trading as a management company, as a letting agent. So yes, you do.
You say that, but what compliance do you need for rent to rent? You don't need. It's not like deal sourcing, is it?
No, but you still have to be registered with Property Redress Scheme. It doesn't take a lot of money. You have to Property Redress Scheme. You have to treat it like a business. It is a business, so you have to be insured as a business. Property Redress Scheme, depending on how you hold deposits, depends on how you have to be registered. But you also have the DPS.
But for example, if you're doing service accommodation, you don't hold deposits at all.
No, some people do. You don't have to, but some people do.
But most people wouldn't. You just put it on Airbnb, Booking.com, and let them do their systems and pay you at the end. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, but you're still acting. You're still acting in as a management company, because unless you own the property, so he doesn't own the property, it's rent to rent. So he's essentially acting as a letting agent. He's managing that property on behalf of the person that owns it. So he has to be legitimately, legally compliant as a letting agent that does management. So there's a great book that we've written within the company, and that's called Property Compliance or something like that by Anthony John.
Isn't it Property Compliance Made Easy?
Yes, that's it. I knew it was Property Compliance something. And that's Anthony John, James Armstrong, Hannah Mills wrote that book, and it's out there. So yeah, get a copy of that book and you'll see all the compliance bits you need for all the different strategies. Okay, there is one more question and then we're going to wrap up. And this come to me from David James, and that come via Instagram. And this is David James, the former Aston Villa goalkeeper.
Is it?
No. Admit, David James has asked questions before, and every single time you're like, is it? And every single time I've done that. Anyway, David James, hi, buddy. Hi, Alistair. And he put, hey, Alistair. And in brackets, he put, I suppose I better say, and Russell.
Because he's messaging you on Instagram. I mean, unless we had like a little, like, I don't even know what to say, but a little joint account. Alistair and Russell, we got a little picture of us hugging.
Yeah. Hope you're both well. Yes, we are, my friend. Thank you for asking. I have a question regarding joint venture finance. From an investor point of view, what should he or she make sure they have in place before considering lending money in a joint venture partnership with a property developer? Okay, definitely a contract, definitely a heads of terms, definitely a fully understanding of what you're investing in, potentially a schedule of works, but definitely, I would never lend a penny without a contract. I know one option is to take charge over the property in question, but I just wondered if there's a way to insist the deal is set up, or do you have other methods? Yes, again, depending on the value of the loan or the joint venture, depends on what charge you would have on the property. So it may be that you're lending somebody £30,000 to purchase a property, but you don't have ownership of the property. So option number one is set up an SPV where you're both limited, you're both in the company as directors. The company then buys the property and you're part of that company. Option number two would be to lend that person some money, but have a charge on the property or a deed of trust. Now, the charge on the property is very subjective to whether or not there's finance being used from a lending company for the purchase, because they will have always first charge. You will likely, if they will allow it, be allowed a second charge, but a lot of lenders don't allow second charges. So you have to be very, very careful with that. Again, if the JV partner has more than one investor, who decides who gets first and second charge? That's subjective, because if it's all private investors, then it's about negotiation and working out who gets what charge. If they've got, like, let's say Shawbrook Finance were lending Bridging Finance for a purchase, they will always get first charge, always.
There you
go. I'm just checking. I'm just reading through his final thing. Okay, and he finishes it off. He finishes the message off. I'm still enjoying the podcast. Tunes in every week. Cheers, David James. In brackets, not the goalkeeper. It's funny you put that. Anyway, that's it from this week's show. I've loved doing it as always. I know Russell enjoys taking the Michael out of me, but I don't mind because I've got thick skin and I know it's all done in jest. Is it? Right, okay. On that bombshell, guys, watch at 7 o'clock on Friday. Tune in next week. Make sure you share the heck out of this, even if it's just to annoy the person that got annoyed because we don't talk property all the time.
Sorry, guys. We'll try and talk more. What was his name? Labor.
It's quite a funny name, isn't it? Le Boar.
It's like French for the boar.
The boar, yeah.
Anyway, bye, guys.